Hello everyone, I'm Michelle. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to try out the products that I received from the MONVICT, MONVICT store on Amazon. And for the first test we're going to do is I'm really curious about these beading needles. Will they go through the beads? What size beads they'll go through? And we're gonna test those. So let me clear the rest of it off, get my beads out, different size beads, and I will be right back. All right, so I've got the smallest. I'm going to start with the smallest needle. There's 3 different sizes. I didn't realize that. I thought there were 2. And I'm going to use my thread snips. Yep, very sharp. So those are good. Alright, so I've got laid out here 6/0, 8/0, 11/0, 15/0 seed beads. Alright, this is the size that a lot of bead weavers work with, so we'll try those out first. So I have no doubt about the 6/0. And on beading needles, like, you can't use a regular sewing needle because the eye is too fat. This 6/0 slides right over that eye. Let's try the 8/0. It also slides right over. 6/0s and 8/0s will work. 11/0, it stops at the eye. I mean, it won't even go up over any part of that eye. So I have these needles will be quite limited. The beads will be limited that you can go through. Like pearls, you probably couldn't get through with the smallest needle. But let's see. I've got some Swarovski 6 and 8 millimeter pearls. Let's just see. And it did go through that small hole. So that's good to know. So we'll put these in the yes pile, and anything on this side of the needle will be the no pile. So I'm sure it'll go over the 8 millimeter since it went over the 6. Okay. Alright, I've got a 4 millimeter hematite round. Let's see if that'll work. No, it does not go over the eye. The 4 millimeter gemstone. And then we have a freshwater pearl here, about a 6 millimeter. Let's see. And no, it won't go over the eye. So I really don't even need to try these larger needles, except for the ones that the small one went through. Like the next size up, will it go through? It'll definitely go through the 6/0. Those have large holes. Let's try the 8/0. Yes. The 6 millimeter pearl. You know, Swarovski pearl. Oh, it's tight. And the 8 millimeter Swarovski pearl, it's kind of tight too. So you're gonna, if you are working with large hole beads, these needles would be perfect. All of them. Because normally seed beaters do use 11/0s most frequently, and 15-0s, and gemstones, and freshwater pearls. So, you know, depending on what kind of beads you're using, like I said, on this side, on this needle, on this side is the beads will go through, on this side is the beads that they don't go through, that this needle won't go through. So it's a mismatch, but you know, if you're, say you're looming with larger beads, these will be perfect, these long needles. All right, so let me clear this up and go to the next thing. Now we'll try out our caliper, see if it's accurate. And let's see, this is supposed to be 8mm. It looks right on the caliper. It's about the 8 mark. Let's try the 6. Yep, right on. Try the 4. It's got a small, you know, kind of small space to get it to grab it. Yep, 4mm. All right, so the caliper works fine. Okay, now the pliers. Let's see, you know, when you use pliers, these do feel a little flimsy, but let's see how well. They've got a nice fine tip. They grab that 15-0 just fine, just perfectly. They go together well, flush. So yeah, the tweezers look good too. Like I said, this kit's perfect for beginners that don't have any tools, aren't sure whether they're going to like beading or not, and they want to try it out. Alright. And then the awl works good. This isn't, I don't think this is a bead reamer because it's not got a file along here. But when you're making your knots, when you're working with, you know, cording and you're tying knots, you could use this, if you don't already have one, to pull the thread against and tie your knots. The only thing, like I said, you'll have to file that sharp piece. If yours has a sharp piece of metal at the end, file that down. Alright, now I want to check out the wire snips. It's really fine. That I said 24 gauge. It's either 24 or 26. It's really fine wire. Alright, let's snip our wire. And so small. Looks like a nice flush cut. And I'm gonna get my round nose pliers that come in the kit. There's round nose and chain nose. And let me do a wrapped loop with them. See, they're flush on each other. One's not laying over. See the tip? One's not laying over the other, which is good. And then what you do is use your chain nose to hold that while you wrap your loop. And this tiny, tiny wire isn't the best, but in my opinion, for wrapping loops. But I mean, it works easy enough. It just... Alright. Then you take your flesh cutters. Snip that wire off. This wire just bends up so easily. It's kind of hard to... I still see a little piece sticking off. Alright, and then you just add your bead. And then you wrap your other loop. I'm not doing this neat because I'm just, you know, showing you how you've got the tools here to work with wire and the wire to get you started. All the basics in this kit for beginners. I mean, established beaders can use it as well, but usually we have these tools by, you know, at this point, so. Alright, let me see, what else did we not try? Oh, well, we've got the tape measure here, which is nice to have, and then we've got the needle threaders there as well. Here's the jewelry making kit that I received from the MONVICT store. In a previous video, I went over everything that comes in it. In this video, we tested most of the products to show how they work and to see if they worked well. And I think everything is good for a beginner here in this box. The caliper's right on. The tweezers work. These definitely work. The thread snips, except you might want to go ahead and buy you some extra needles if you're a bead weaver, a size 10 and size 11 beading needles, because these needles aren't good unless you've got large hole beads, except 6/0s, 8/0s, and some of the larger holes. All right, and the kit, as I said in the previous video, also comes with some, looks like 26 gauge wire. I said 24, but I think it's 26 now that I used it in gold and silver. It also comes with some stretchy cord here, and it's $15.99. So if you're a beginner, you're just starting to make jewelry, you don't have any tools, you want to try your hand at it, I think it's a good value. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.